And this is just a tremendous opportunity for the city. I don't think it's any secret that the city is fiscally strapped right now, and we have a wonderful neighborhood effort to renovate Corliss Park. And one of the priorities that has been identified was to fix the basketball court there, which is a double court, and hasn't been fixed in 30 years. And so when we heard that Coca Cola and the National Parks and Recreation Association were looking for people to potentially award some money to, we were fortunate that Beth jumped right in from the Parks and Recreation Department, Beth Boys, and put in a grant application. And they said, well, we need 3 choices. We don't, in case we don't like the first one. So our 3 choices were Corliss Park, and Corliss Park. Because we wanted to make sure that this park got the money that it deserves. And even though it's raining today, thanks for joining us inside. Typically at sporting events, they'll say, well, you'll have to give me a rain check today and come back later. But no rain checks today. We're here for the real thing. And so we're pleased that everybody has been able to come today. Coca Cola, who is providing us this grant, is here today. And Coca Cola has been a wonderful business in Providence for many, many decades. They have that familiar building on Pleasant Valley Parkway that all of us have gone by a number of times. And they've shown their commitment to the city over the years by expanding twice at that site. So they've been a wonderful corporate partner in Providence for decades. And today, representing Coca Cola is Joe Giacomo.
Coca-Cola's commitment to support issues that families care about, creating opportunities to make neighborhood parks, basketball courts, playgrounds, and athletic fields more functional and fun for youth to live an active and healthy lifestyle. The 2012 Sprite Spark Parks project is a partnership between Sprite and the National Recreation and Parks Association to get 25 basketball courts back in the game in cities across the country. This year, Sprite will donate $275,000 among these 25 parks nationwide, and grants ranging from $5,000 to $15,000. And in the last year alone, Sprite Sparks Parks project has put over $2 million into building or revamping our outdoor spaces. In addition to our 25 courts, 7 have been chosen by the NRPA, and our regional teams to receive grants to refurbish rims, backboards, lights, benches, and playing surfaces. We're lucky here to have one in the top 10. Today, we are here to present the mayor in the Parks and Recreation Department with the grant for sparking new life into Corliss Park. This Sprite Parks Park campaign addresses crucial need in communities around the country. About 70% of young people in urban areas do not have playgrounds to play in or close to their homes. School districts struggling with tight budgets sometimes build new schools and buildings without parks. They look to parents and the private sector to help out with funding. The Sprite Sparks Parks project is part of our sustainable platform introduced by the Coca Cola Company called Live Positive. It is our hope that through this program we will continue to connect with communities and to demonstrate the importance of physical fitness, building active, healthy living spaces in our communities, and sharing the Live Positive philosophy. Thank you.
Over the last several years, the Parks Department has worked with numerous groups and organizations to renovate many neighborhood parks. And those park renovations have done wonders to build community spirit and to build community in those neighborhoods. And the new councilman for Ward 14, David Salvatore, who wanders the neighborhoods, came to the Parks and Recreation Department and said, you know, it's time to do something at Corliss Park. And we've been working with the councilmen for almost a year now, and a really active neighborhood group that has given us great ideas of what to do there. And so the councilman has not only helped push us and inspire us, but he's also brought in a wonderful partner, Providence College. And many people from Providence College are here today, so I'd like to give them a round of applause. And so it's my pleasure to introduce Councilman David Salvatore.
Thank you, Bob. Mayor, thank you for being here. I see there are some young folks in the crowd today, and I want to thank all of you for inspiring me as the council person in this area to focus on our neighborhood park, concentrating in our public schools, but more importantly, getting you involved and listening to your ideas surrounding what our neighborhood should look like. 16 months ago, I had the opportunity to visit Corliss Park after an election. And with that same neighborhood group that Bob mentioned, I was inspired and learned that a lot of folks in that community wanted a facelift in the Wanscombe area. So we started reaching out to people, neighbors, especially you, the children of the neighborhood, to find out what it is that you wanted. And those basketball courts haven't been renovated in years, and that was the #1 renovation that you wanted to see. So it is because of you that we are here today, and it's because of you that Coca Cola has so generously, or will present us with a check for $20,000. But again, I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank Providence College for being an active partner in the 14th Ward in both the Elmhurst and Wanscombe communities. I've made it clear from day one that I cannot do this alone. And with the partnership of Providence College, all of you, and the mayor's office, we are going to transform this neighborhood. Okay, and I look forward to continuing to listening to you as stakeholders in the community. You have the best and brightest ideas. You know your neighborhood better than anybody. And again, I look forward to working with you. And again, I thank Coca Cola for their generous donation. Thank you.
There's a beautiful sports complex also right around the corner called Creek Metcalf Fields that includes the Little League fields for the North End Wanscott Little League. And many of the kids who participate in those leagues live in this neighborhood and will also enjoy these wonderful basketball courts that are going to be renovated. And one of the people who's been responsible for those fields and for that Little League, in fact his family has worked in those Little Leagues for, I don't know, I'm going to guess 50 or 60 years, maybe more, has been Nick Narducci, and he's a councilman for the 4th Ward. And so I'd like to introduce Nick Narducci to say a few words.
Yeah, I'd like to just quickly thank our friends at PC for everything you guys do, your students, they're great, especially Coca Cola today. But more importantly, I think it's very important to remember with good playgrounds, good baseball fields, good sports for the youth, especially in the summertime when the kids need it the most, is the most important thing we can do as a city. We have 250 children that play in our little league, and yes, they have to be from our neighborhood. We can't have kids outside our neighborhood, so all of the kids in our league are from our neighborhood. We did the same thing roughly a couple of years back with the Parks Department. We built a brand new playground down across from Chad Brown with the soccer field. And it was one of the best things we ever did. You go by there on the weekend, not only are our soccer kids out there and the parents and the kids out there at the playground, the kids from Chad Brown come over, they enjoy the playground. The water park was another great thing we did for the kids. It's got to stop being about the kids because they're our future. There's so much, it's so easy for you guys to be followers, but don't go that route. We leaders out there, we need you kids. The youth is so important to us. And again, I want to thank Mayor Taveras for being youth friendly with us, and he knows firsthand now because he's done a little, that's going to be playing on his basketball courts too. Again,
was that the mayor and councilmen have been practicing for over a week now on doing a special alley-oop and slam dunk play. And so we don't have a basketball here, so they really can't do it here today. But we'll miss that at the ceremony. But when the courts are done, we'll bring them back and we'll work on that play. It's my pleasure to introduce Mayor Angel Taveras, who has really embraced parks and what they can do in the community, and is a proud alma mater of Classical, which was recently named one of the 400 best public high schools in America, and who's also a good friend of the PC coach Ed Cooley. And so I'm hopeful that the mayor and Ed could get some both men's and women's basketball players out here in the fall to help run some programs for the kids in the neighborhood. It's my pleasure to introduce Mayor Taveras.
Thank you, everyone. And I got to tell you, since Bob decided to talk, I decided that Councilman Salvatore and I would play him, Councilman Narducci, the young against the old, coming up in a little bit. So when we get a basketball, I got shoes on, and I'm going to take them out, okay? So we're going to get a basketball here because since Bob started it, I'm going to end it. That's the way I look at it. But Bob, I want to thank you for your work. I want to recognize as well that Charlotte Voice is here and does so much work with the parks here. Thank you, Beth, for all of your work and your support. Mr. Majano, thank you very, very much for being here. I got to tell you that it's always good to get good news as mayor, and I haven't been getting that much good news lately, so this is nice. It's nice that I can come to pick up a check instead of worrying about writing a check. I want to recognize Councilman Salvatore as well for his leadership. He's been on the council for only 16 months and has been a tremendous advocate. And thank you, Councilman, for your leadership, not only with parks, but everything you've done with pensions as well. And I like to say about Councilman Narducci, wherever you see kids in sports, Councilman Narducci is never far away. And it doesn't matter where it is, he's always there. Thank you, Councilman, for your leadership. And I know that Providence College is here today and sent great to Steve Morano. Thank you, Providence College, for all that you do, the work that you do with Fusion, the work that you do in our neighborhood, and it's just wonderful. So thank you, and Providence College for that. And thank you. Who's here from the Boys and Girls Club? Anyone here from the Boys and Girls Club? I don't hear you. Who's here from the Boys and Girls Club? Let's hear something. But thank you to the Boys and Girls Club as well. Let me just say this, and that is that really, parks are life-saving. They're life-saving. Being involved in these playgrounds, these basketball courts, where right now in the Boys and Girls Club, they change lives, they save lives. And that is something that we recognize and know that councilmen who are here recognize. And that is why we're so committed in the city to doing everything we can to have a strong recreation department, to have vibrant parks that attract our young people and attract people from all walks of life. Because we need it now more than ever. And we need you to stay involved in sports. And when we have kids involved in sports, they're less likely to do other things that are less positive. And so really parks are so important. I played Little League when I was young. The old Tim O'Neill field, played at Albany. I was supposed to play at Buffalo Park when I was in high school, but the park was not in very good shape, so we had to play at William. These basketball courts that we're doing now at Corliss Park are so important because it keeps people engaged, keeps kids active. And also, if you're playing against each other or with each other, you're much likelier to be friendly to each other. So what you're doing, what Coca Cola is doing in this Sprite Spark Parks project, say that 3 times quickly. But what Coca Cola is doing in this project is helping to save lives in our city. So I thank Coca Cola, I thank Sprite, I thank all of you for being here today. It's an important day. I'm sorry that we could not do it outside, but know that this is a very important day, and it's going to make a huge difference in our city. So thank you, Coca Cola, for believing in us. Thank you for choosing us. We look forward to working with you, and we look forward to doing
I'd like to present the check. As you can see, it's to the city of courts, the